I was curious because you and I have a similar experience, which is did you temp for a while?
I did, yes.
I temped also in the leaner times of my career. I was a temp.
Yeah.
And I had the experience of when I'm in a world like that, when I was either a student or when I was working a serious job, I wasn't at all funny. I was just did what people needed me to do and kept my mouth shut, to the point where later on, when teachers found out that I was having success in comedy, they were stunned.
Yeah.
Because I remember it as a temp, just doing the work, and then I was in between writing jobs with my partner Greg Daniels, who you know,
who I love, yeah.
Oh, well, let's just say you know him.
I love the guy. You know why? Lemon cakes alone.
Yes.
Lemon cakes, Christmas lemon cakes. I did get those for a span of years.
I've never gotten one from Greg.
Really?
No.
I don't think he sends them anymore, or I'm not on the list anymore, but they're delicious.
Greg, of course, who's created so many great shows, The American Office and Parks and Rec, and he's brilliant. We started out as writing partners together.
Wow, I didn't know
that. And worked together for years, and we're still very close. He did one of the funniest things, which is that he showed up at one of my Christmas parties about 7 years ago with this giant tower. He walks in the door with this giant tower wrapped in plastic of like fruit and nuts, and it's all very exotic. And I look at it, and it says, to Greg from the sound editing team at H&B, and Greg had crudely crossed it out and wrote, "Love Greg," making no attempt to hide the re-gift. And I loved that more than any real gift. It was so funny that he could have gotten me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. One time I was at, I think it was Aspen Comedy Festival, and I received a large fruit basket, and I was like, oh my God, the festival sent me this fruit basket. And all my friends were like, what? We didn't get one. And everyone's like jealous and upset. And then my mom was like, did you get the fruit basket? And I realized it was from my mom, and it was another crushing blow in a series of crushing blows.
Shouldn't it have been nicer that it was from your mom?
No. I thought it was like, hey, best of the fest. Here you go. Pineapple.
There's a phone call here. Someone saying they love you very much. Is it the industry? No, it's your mother. Then fuck it!
Send it to the voicemail. Yeah.
I love you and I'll always cherish you. Is it Warner Brothers? No. It's your mother and father. Fuck! What's wrong with us? That's terrible.
I know. It's really broken.
It's broken
people.
That Aspen Comedy Festival, I know we're all over the map, but these are my favorite interviews. That Aspen Comedy Festival was the craziest thing in the world, because in the the heyday of the Aspen Comedy Festival, I don't know who was running this thing, but they just threw money at it.
Yeah.
And I'd be in New York, and they'd say, hey, Conan, do you want to come out and interview Steve Martin and all of your comedy heroes? And I'd be like, yeah. And they'd say, great. And then they'd fly me out there, and they'd say, here's a parka that says Aspen Comedy Festival.
Diamond encrusted skis.
Diamond encrusted skis. And I'd say, are these blood diamonds? And they'd go like, maybe. No, it's just, you just were like, who's paying for all this? And then I guess someone took over the festival and looked at the books and said, this is insane.
The books were cooked.
The books were, I don't know what was happening there.
This is actual cocaine on these mountains.
Yeah, exactly. It's actual cocaine on the mountain. And there was a whole slope where you could just ski on Rolexes. And I was like, this just feels wrong. But okay, I guess I'll go.
Yeah, all the affluence of yesteryear. Like every writer's room I was in, they're like, we used to eat steaks every day, and like then it would be like even at Brooklyn, they would cross out a certain dollar amount entree. Like you could only order under.
No, it's funny. I come to NBC in 1993 to do the late night show. And my introduction is to go to an Upfront, which is where all the advertisers get together.
Love Upfronts.
Oh, my God.
So chill.
No one ever.
Yeah. Love Upfronts. No, but I go to an Upfront because they say, oh, it's this new kid, Conan O'Brien. You'll see. It's going to be something. You'll see. And which was a terrible slogan, by the way. That's the best around. You'll see. He'll be something, I suppose. I don't know why Norm Macdonald is saying it, but I show up and huge ice sculptures of peacocks. And then, you got to think about it was Friends. It was Cheers. It was,
wow.
And so giant fountains that, I'd heard of liquid chocolate fountains, but just craziness. It was madness. And then I'll never forget one of the last Upfronts I went to, it was a tent that was leaking because it was raining and it was a cash bar. And that was over, I want to say that was like a 15-year period, but that was just how things changed. And now now it would be like an individual camping tent and everyone gets to go inside. I don't know. It was, there was a crazy time there where there were 3 or 4 networks and they would do things like, I missed this phase, but they would tell me, 2 years ago, it was a cruise. And all the advertisers were taken on a cruise and massive stars mingled with them. And everybody was eating, squab. I don't even know what squab is.
That's delicious.
But it sounded like madness. And it is very, very different times.
Yeah, it's like Robin Leach set up a promise, in my youth. Remember Run Away with the Rich and Famous? And like I watched that, I'm like, wow, like this is gonna be me someday. And then now it's like Eat the Rich. I'm like, ugh. Wrong timeline,
Where is Robin Leach? I'm sure he's passed on to his reward.
He's gotta be buried in.
He's in the best place in heaven.
A golden casket.
I don't know where he is. He's definitely
he died.
Yeah, sure. 2004.
2018.
Longer than I thought.
Recently.
Wow.
Well, anyway, I had the same thing where there was.
I thought Dog the Bounty Hunter died, and I used to do a joke about it where I go, Dog the Bounty Hunter died. Yeah, I know that one hurts, or this one hurts, or something. And then someone just told me he's alive, and that was fake.
It was him at a show.
I thought he died.
He stood up. Excuse me.
It was fake.
No.
Can you look up another death? Is this your death research?
Yeah.
Yes.
Eduardo.
Yes.
Hey, Eduardo, am I still alive?
This is Death Styles of the Rich and Famous.
Let's just spend the remainder of our time looking up celebrity deaths.
Dog is with 2 G's.
No, he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still
it's
alive.
not like the hog. Dague.
You know what we should do? We should turn this whole podcast into Who's Alive and Who's Dead.
That's a good
His
one.
wife died.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try not to be all smiley when you say that. Eduardo just said that with the biggest smile. Like that's a terrible, tragic loss.
His wife died. I was just glad I found the right information.
Yeah, well, just think about what you're saying.
What a win for you.
Okay.
What a win.
That's why they won't let you work at the hospital anymore, Eduardo. Your grandpa's dead. Eduardo, I was just happy that I had the right information.